Hey everybody, this is Meyer, and in this video is what I want to do is talk a little bit about my course, Intro to Music Production. Maybe you're taking this course online, or you found it on YouTube, or you're watching a video of it because you're taking the course in person. But anyway, I want to take this time. This is going to be the first course, the first week of the course, where I basically explain the course logistics, how it's structured, and hopefully you can use it to decide whether or not this is a course you'd want to take or it's a good course for you. Now, let me explain a little bit about background of this course, or about how this course came to be. So this course is taught at Rice University, both in person and virtually. And the reason I made this course is Rice has one of the best musical conservatories in the world. It's great for piano performance and a lot of other performance, but there aren't any classes on music production and technology. In particular, there aren't really any classes on the sort of practical element of music production where you learn how to record your own tracks and also mix and master them and create your own music. It can get a little bit theoretical and academic and not as pragmatic. And I find that music production is incredibly fun and rewarding. I've been doing it about maybe 8 to 10 years. So at the time when I started teaching this course, I was like, why don't I make a course to fill that niche, since there wasn't already a course there and a lot of students were interested and wanting to learn about it. And the other cool thing about music production is you can put it on your resume, even if it's not something that you do full-time or you only do it part-time, because there are a lot of great transferable skills. It includes both technical skills, like learning how to work a digital audio workstation, other software, and also artistic skills in terms of just developing your ear, developing yourself as an artist, and marketing yourself. So a lot of cool things when you're writing your own music that you can say apply to other areas, even if you're just learning music for fun or just learning it for the sake of learning it. Now, the way I've structured this course is I really like to kind of have this idea of thinking about this course in a way of what did I wish I had known, because I was mostly self-taught and then eventually got a formal education, but it was much later and it was kind of just filling in those gaps. So it's like, what are some of the things I wish I had knew when I started so I didn't spend so many times fumbling around in the dark and making mistakes early on? So by taking this course, I can guarantee that you will be able to get your track sounding professional, getting signed to a label a lot quicker than if you just, didn't take the course. This course was taught in the past as COL 119. It was a joint music and electrical engineering class as Intro to Computer Music. Then it kind of evolved into Intro to Music Production because it took a more even a more pragmatic side than just the more technical side of computer music. I mean, the course got more technical, but it also got a little bit more focused on what students really needed to know, how to work a digital audio workstation. So it's kind of evolved over the last few years. It's been awarded teaching awards for the course, and students who have taken it have actually they've gone on tour, they've gone and sold their beats for money, they've worked in studios around the world with people like Mariah Carey. So I do believe in the success of the course, and I'll talk a little bit about why the philosophy of this course is different from other courses in a second. It's also taught with sponsorship from Rich Baranick in the Electrical and Computer Engineering Department at Rice, and also from sponsorship from the lovely folks at PreSonus, who have also given us site licensing for Studio One for all the wonderful people taking this course in person at Rice. Now let's talk a little bit about who this course is for. It's really designed for anybody who would like to understand how to make their own music, but primarily designed on beginners who don't understand much about how to make their own music. I mean, some background in music is helpful. Playing an instrument, knowing music theory, all those things are going to help you. Of course, we're going to go over it. But once again, this is designed to be a fundamentals course so that you can leave this course knowing how to produce and write and mix and master and engineer music in all genres, not just one particular genre. And this can get pretty technical. So when we talk about things like sound, dynamic range, the frequency domain, some of these things, it is really important to understand how to look at these things from a technical standpoint. That way you're not one of those artists that has to rely on other people to do all the work for you. Now, granted, you may get to a point where you decide, okay, it's not worth my time or my money for me to just do everything myself. I'm just going to pay a mastering engineer to do this, or I'm just going to pay a recording engineer to do this. But it is really useful for you to know how to do it yourself. That way you know exactly the language to use with those people when you're asking for a specific job, or you can get exactly the results that you want. Now I want to take a minute to explain why I think this course is different from the other courses in music production out there and why you should take it. I mean, first of all, it's free, so you don't really have to pay. I mean, if you're going to Rice, you're paying for it with your tuition, so it's most definitely not free. But for those of you guys online, watching these videos and stuff is free, so definitely would, what's the worst that could happen? You don't learn anything? Hopefully you learned something. But really the reason I designed this course is a lot of the existing tutorials and courses out there are more are almost too pragmatic. So they teach you how to get a specific sound, but they don't teach you the fundamentals of music. So you can end up with gaps or holes in your understanding because, yeah, you can copy what the other person's doing, but maybe you don't understand exactly why we're using a compressor in this situation or what all these controls on a compressor do. So this course is really more focused on understanding instead of quick results, with the idea that if you do things the long and hard way, you'll end up with a better understanding that will give you the results you absolutely want, rather than you get a nice finished product that sounds like a polished record, but you didn't really understand the process along the way. So if you want to get a finished hit signed record, this is not the fastest way to do it, but I do think this is one of the best ways to do it, aside from, taking one-on-one lessons with somebody who can really sit down with you and go through all those gaps in your understanding and having that conversation. Now, the idea behind this course is teaching skills that apply to all digital audio workstations, not just, follow me in Ableton Live or follow me in Studio One. Although with that being said, all the demos will be done in Studio One, and part of that reason is because of the sponsorship from Presonus, and also because this course, there's a free version of Studio One because it's cross-platform. So it was really the digital audio workstation of choice. I actually reached out to Presonus for that reason, and they have a really good education department. So once again, all these demos are going to be done in Studio One, and if you're new, we recommend you use Studio One, but you can use any digital audio workstation you want. All the demos, all the examples, all the assignments, you can do in any digital audio workstation. And once again, just kind of not to toot my own horn or anything, but really to toot the horn of the students who have done the work and gotten the understanding. They've had incredible success from this course, so they really do believe in it, and their feedback has helped shape the course to what it is today. Now, one thing I will say, because this course teaches the fundamentals, for the experienced producers out there, I really don't recommend necessarily sitting through all the videos in this course. I would say find the videos that seem the most interesting or that have the holes in your knowledge, especially these the intro week where we talk about like what is a digital audio workstation, what are transport controls. You may already know that stuff, so it's okay to fast forward it and things like that. Once we start talking about sound, things like sample rate, bit rate, quantization, I do recommend making sure you pay attention to those, because not understanding that early on will definitely come back later and I guess be a hole in your knowledge that you want to cover up. So let me take a minute to talk about the course organization for a second. There'll be weekly videos to watch. Of course, if you are going to this course in person, there'll be weekly lectures, or I guess classroom. I try not to keep it lecture format. I like it to be more interactive. But if you're taking the course online or through a platform like Coursera or edX, you'll be watching these videos weekly. There'll be discussion forums for the people taking the course online. I also plan on having a Discord. Hopefully, if you're watching this, Discord's still a thing, and you can follow the link in the description about how to get on the Discord, and you can ask questions there. And hopefully other students can also answer the question, because the best way to learn something is really to teach it. So I may not be answering the questions as much unless other people don't, but that's because it helps you guys also try to answer the questions yourselves. There are also going to be 3 projects or 3 assignments throughout the duration of the course. And when I go over the schedule, I'll talk a little bit more about that. So the first project is a synthesis project where you're going to go through and synthesize your own sound. So this is like a sound design project, understanding how to use a synthesizer. And that's really important. That'll encourage you it'll help you be a better mixing engineer too, even if you don't plan on making synthesizer-based music. The next project is a mixing project where we will provide you with the stems of a rock song. It's just a shorter snippet of it, and you get to do all the mixing and sort of mastering of it as well, but mostly mixing in terms of equalization, reverb, compression, and just getting a nice tight mix sounding together. And then last but not least, there's a final project where you get to create your own song, and you're kind of given pretty much carte blanche to do what you want, although there are some guidelines that we want you guys to use, like using automation, using some of these examples, just to demonstrate the skills you've learned throughout the course. And of course, there'll be optional readings, which are taken from a variety of sources. One of the sources I really think is important, and I do recommend it, it's almost like the course textbook, is Rick Snowman's Dance Music Manual. It's not a required book, but for the people taking the course in person, it's highly recommended. And even if you're not planning on doing dance music, it is an absolutely incredible book, and it helped me a lot back when it was on a very previous version when it came out, just to get to the understanding that I am now. So I can't recommend having that book enough and using it as a reference to supplement some of the materials that you find interesting.